Mulberry podcast, episode 14, and I got a good friend with me. Known him for a long time. I feel like every guest I have on here I've known for a long time. That's just that small town shit, you know. But this is my buddy Raymond, man. How you doing?
What's good, man?
I appreciate you coming on.
No, I appreciate you.
Also wanted to thank you
Yeah.
for the gift. You know, my man's a young thrifting god, so he brought me a gift, man, and I appreciate that a lot. So.
Yeah. No, honestly, I just felt like it would suit the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're doing podcasts. You
Hell
got
yeah.
the Tonight Show.
Jay Leno's he's
Jay
a
Leno.
goat, man.
Yeah.
So, well, speaking of that, let's just get right into it.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't know, if you ever seen Endless University on Instagram, this is the man behind the scenes, man. And if you never heard of that, go to Instagram and make sure you give Endless University a follow.
Nah, for sure. I appreciate that.
And I wanted to ask you, like, where that came from. Like, how did that all start, and how did you come up with that?
Honestly, it all started because, like, in high school, I started a brand. It was called Mellow. It was me and, like, 3 of my friends. And we came up with the name. We made some shirts, some sweaters and stuff. It probably lasted for, like, a couple months, you know what I mean?
Right.
And eventually they stopped. They didn't really want to do it like that anymore. Like, they weren't really into the clothes stuff. And I kept doing it for a little bit. I made a couple more designs, some shirts. A couple people were fucking with it. But then I eventually just stopped. I just stopped doing it and just faded away from it. But I always liked clothes, you know what I mean? I always like getting dressed and all that type of shit.
Yeah, bro, you were Ray Set's trends back in the day.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I had to change it though because I'm not really into the trends. You know what I mean? I don't want to be like hopping from one trend to the next trend. But anyways, back to the reason why I started. So I didn't really want to make another brand yet. You know what I mean? Whenever it comes down to brands and stuff like that, I kind of think deeply about it. You know what I mean? And I was like, I just want it to be right whenever I do something like that again. And a way for me to ease into it was thrifting and selling clothes that were already made, like shit that I thought was cool, and I could just give it to the people. You know what I mean? But I was just doing it because that's where I started getting clothes from at a point in time. Like, I stopped buying like from online, the mall, whatever. I would just I would buy off Depop and shit like that, but it was all like secondhand clothes or stuff that was pre-owned, and I would just sell like every now and then. Like, I might buy like some BBC pants. I remember I found some at a Goodwill in like Fresno, and I rocked them a couple times. Made a video skating in them.
I saw that. I was like, damn, them bitches are expensive.
Them on Depop, you know what I mean? And I realized I could kind of make that into an actual business, you know what I mean, rather than just selling my old clothes whenever I don't want them anymore.
Right.
And it gave me like an outlet to study clothes and to see what the people like and to see what I like, you know what I mean? From doing that, I've learned a lot about different clothes and different brands. Screen printing, direct to garment, you know what I mean, textures. And
you even told me about the one stitch, the single stitch versus double stitch.
Yeah. Like, if usually, what is the date? Maybe like 99 to above, they started doing like double stitch on the sleeves.
Right.
Like, it's probably hard to see this in the video, but it has like a single stitch, like, only going around. And then after that, they started doing double stitch, like in the 2000s. You know what I mean? So that's an easy indicator to let you know, like, how old something is. Right. There's a bunch of different stuff like tags and, you know, stitching and just little different things like that. And that's just what I've been learning, and I love it, honestly. Right. Yeah.
So that was what you initially did. That's like, how many friends did you have involved with your first clothing brand?
It was, I think it was 3 of us. It was me, Adrian Perez, and Noah Sanchez. I think you know him, right? Okay,
probably, yeah.
Yeah, you probably know Adrian. But either way,
I know Adrian, yeah.
If you guys don't, they went to BUHAC. They're some of my friends. Still some of my friends. I don't see them too much often anymore. Shout out to you guys if you're watching this. But anyways, yeah, I did that with them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, we were just selling clothes at the school to a couple people.
Because for this, like I wanted to get people involved, but there was, I just had like this drive, and I was just doing it every day, and I just needed someone, if someone was gonna do it with me, to be as consistent as I was gonna be with it.
Yeah, that's tough to find.
And it's hard to find because I don't. I mean, this was like something that I came up with, so obviously, like, I'm very passionate about it. This is like, I kind of like embodied it, and like I don't have any personal social media. Like, this is it. Like, this is what I kind of want, like, people to, like, if they think of me, like, this is what they're gonna think of as well, And so I ended up just doing it on my own, and I think it's been really beneficial for me because I don't have to like rely on anyone, and it's really just up to me. But that does make sense when you kind of do something, and then like. Maybe they're not as into it, or they just don't want to do it, and then it's kind of discouraging a little bit. Like, man, just forget about it.
Yeah, man, you know what I mean. I feel like sometimes it's best to do it like that, like solo sometimes, just because then you get your full input in there. You don't really have to like, let's say you want to make this design and you feel this type of way about it, and this is how you want to go about executing it. You don't gotta be like, oh man, what do you guys think? You know what I mean? You could kind of just go off of your own, like. You know what I mean? Your own thoughts, your own intuition. Yeah. But I do, like, saying that, I don't, I'm not discrediting, like, having a team or, like.
No, most
building,
definitely.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But I feel like maybe it's sometimes, like, it's best to just start off, like, with yourself building it, and then, you know what I mean? Like,
building a team. Right.
You know what I mean? Sometimes it works the other way. You know what I mean? Like, you could have a team first, and then you guys work well together and do it like that. Right. But, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, sometimes the stuff, like, one day it's gonna get to the point where you need some help. You know what I mean? Like, just like, let's say with your brand and stuff like that. Like, right now you can run it all the way on your own until you can't no more, and then maybe you want to have somebody come in for graphic design or whatever. Right. At the end of the day, you always do something with somebody. Like, right. Yep. Even if it's like just hitting up the screen printing dude, you know what I mean, and getting your shirts made, or hitting up somebody to take some photos. Like, at the end of the day, you got to incorporate it. Yeah, which I have a good friend of mine, well, Jake Parker. He takes a lot of the photos that I post, and then actually his buddy, who's also my buddy, his name's Christian. He knows a little bit of graphic designing and stuff. Yeah. They call him Catfish. Oh, Cat. I don't know him. I don't know. Yeah. But shout out to Catfish, man. Yeah. But he's shout out to Catfish. That's a fire name. Bro. It is. He's working on a couple of designs for me right now. I kind of got him, to do it. He likes to do it. He just told me, like, at the time he doesn't have any really reason to do it. Yeah. So I gave him some stuff to do, and like he's like super excited. And I would love to build like a team like that, like locally. Yeah. Who I can collaborate with directly, Yeah. So I'm in the works of doing that, and people, if he wants to keep going with it, then I'm all for that. Always have things for him to do, and we can collab on. And then also Christian Rubalcaba, man, shout out to him as always. Shout out to Christian. We've been friends for a long time. I fuck with Christian heavy. Yeah. He really man, I used to ask him, I talked about this before, but I asked him like all the questions I had, and he totally just helped me out. And I started talking to him just through social media. Yeah. Because I think he would like hit me up about like Supreme and stuff, and then we just kicked it off from there. But shout out to him for real. No, for real. Shout out to Christian. I love what he's doing. Yeah. Shout out to Bava Blow. Bava Blow is crazy, dude. What I mean? That's like next level streetwear. I tell him all the time. I fuck with it because it's cutting so. You know what I mean? Yep. It's not taking credit away from just screen printing and everything, but it kind of takes like a little bit more. It does. You know what I mean? You gotta like actually craft the and that's what I told him. I'm like, your designs are like just. He puts so much more effort into it, Yeah. And it's crazy. And I tell him all the time, dude, like, you really got something. So hopefully, I want him to stick with it and stay confident in himself. Yeah. That's a big thing. Sure. I love what he's doing, too. Like, I'm big on, like, especially with people I know, like, whenever they're doing something, anything creative, especially from this area, like, because we don't have too much of that around here. Right. You know what I mean? Or anybody around here who did anything like that. So anytime it's like, I love it. You know what I mean? Like, just keep going with it. Like, everybody just build your shit up. Build, lack of better words, you know what I mean? Build it up. It is true. And keep going. Like, because I remember when I was in high school and shit like that, there was nobody really doing any clothing or too much creatively that I could look up to or go talk to about it. You know what I mean? So it would all come from, like, myself, my friends around me, and like online, you know what I mean, or
Right.
just like big people. I'm always just watching interviews like they're like I'm chilling with them. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But one group of people I do want to shout out is California, because I remember
I was gonna bring that up. Yeah. That was
being,
like the only brand.
yeah, being in Atwater. That was the only brand that or anybody doing anything like that I knew. So I always fucked with them. Like I remember I went and I asked if I could intern there in high school, and I did intern there for like 5 days, and I was too immature and too impatient. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they let me come in and they let me they were gonna teach me the ropes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I was in there, they were showing me how to make stickers from scratch and peeling the decals and stuff like that. But I was like, man, I don't want to make the fucking stickers
Right.
in my head. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I want to go to the back and screen print.
Right.
In my head, I'm like, man, I want to screen print. I want to make designs for you guys. Like,
Right.
I think I could make this shit even cooler.
Right.
But you know what I mean? I'm only 16 thinking like that, and I should have just stuck with it and just learned more. You know what I mean? And just been more patient about it and more humble about like what someone else can teach me, instead of thinking I could have brought something to the table
Right.
and taught them something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So where did you learn to screen print?
I taught myself how to screen
Taught
print.
yourself. You
Yeah.
just said fuck it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too. Nowadays, I mean, you can figure out how to do anything on YouTube,
Yeah, YouTube,
pretty much.
YouTube taught me,
you know?
actually.
Yeah.
Shout out to YouTube. It's the best school.
Yeah. It
Best
really
school
is,
out there.
man.
No joke.
So working up to Endless University,
Yeah.
this was a solo thing for you, or did you have?
No, this was completely solo thing.
Right. So how'd you come up with that name? 'Cause that's just pretty dope.
Well, first I came up with endless. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just because I feel like when it came to what I was doing, what I wanted to offer was like an endless variety of different stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
I wanted it to be a place you could come, you could get shirts, you could get jackets, you could get pants. You know what I mean? This brand, that brand, that brand.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the opportunities and the options were endless. That was always my mindset with that. And I'm also like, when it comes to names and stuff like that, I think it's important to think about it. You know what I mean? Like when I've said endless, you know what I mean? It kind of made it a broader spectrum. You know what I mean, of what I could do with it and where I could take it.
Right.
So like honestly, what I've been doing right now is I've just been scratching the surface. Like I got some plans for it, like that I haven't done or I haven't really talked about yet. But honestly, like when I moved to LA and I started doing the thrifting stuff over there and finding clothes and selling clothes over there, I met up with a lot of cool people who like at the thrift store who do the same thing as me. Like we'll go there at 8 a.m. and be there until closing, because it's not like the regular Goodwill outlets. I mean the Goodwill retail store where you could go in and get shit off the racks. Like
Right.
$3 a shirt. It's these bins. It's called the Goodwill outlet. We call it the bins. And you could go in there and just dig through shit all day. They keep bringing stuff out all day, and everything is like $2.25 per pound.
Right.
So a shirt is like 80 cents, and you're just finding the craziest shit.
You
You're
just
in
find
LA,
gems in there?
You're finding gems, designer stuff, old shit, 50s, 60s, 70s,
Right.
80s, 90s. You know what I mean? And on top of that, you're in there with other people who've been doing this as long as you and who are as passionate as you. And all day I'm just chilling with them, asking them questions. You know what I mean? We're just chopping game all day. You know what I mean? Just
Right.
learning and building. It's honestly like it's a big community,
Right.
but it's still underground. But it's like it's a solid community, and it has a lot of good people. But
That's like a full-time job, bro.
no, it really is, bro. Like I'm there all day, and then
How
on the
often do you
weekends,
go a day? You go every day?
I usually go every single day, and then
Wow.
Saturday and Sunday I sell at the flea markets. I sell at Melrose Trading Post on Sunday, and Silver Lake Flea Market on Saturday. But like you were saying, did I do it on my own? Like endless? I do endless on my own, but when I go to the markets and sell, I sell with a friend. His name is Sheen.
Okay.
He also has a page where he sells, and he makes his own stuff too,
Okay.
customs, and he's dope dude. I met him over there. His Instagram is the Dreaded Totes, if you guys want to check it out. So we'll come together at like the flea markets and set up. Like I'll have like 3 racks on this side. He'll have 3 racks on this side, and
Right.
we just sell together. You know what I mean? Because it makes it easier. Like, let's say I want to go walk around, I want to go buy some stuff from some other vendors, I want to go to the bathroom or some shit, or just you want to have someone to talk to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just chill with, and so we'll do it like that. So we got our own 2 separate businesses, and we still operate, you know what I mean, solo, but on the weekends we come together and sell together.
That's dope, man. And are you still working on some like solo shit? Cause I know you like made the jeans and stuff.
Yeah.
With your own like little design.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm definitely working on some stuff. I got some stuff that's on the way. I've just been being really patient with it, cause like I'm saying, like before when I was talking about I wanted to do this before I made a brand. Whenever it comes to like me making stuff, I'm my biggest critic. You know what I mean? I go so hard on myself. Right. Sometimes I gotta just be easy.
Yeah, yeah.
But definitely working on some stuff, and I don't want to say exactly what I'm working on yet.
No, that's fine.
Because I like to, you know what I mean, bring it to life first, and then do it, or get into production first, and do it like that. But
so you feel like sometimes the process takes longer because you just do something and then you see it and you're like, fuck, man, I don't know if I like that, or
not even that. It's just like in my head, I'll plan this shit out like all the way out. I'll have it all planned out on paper. I'll write it down, and I just want to execute it right. What I want to do next is not like what I've done. You know what I mean? Like the pants that I did, they were cool, and people fucked with them. I only released like 7 pairs. Right. And it was honestly like an organic idea. Like I just had the single screen print. Right. And I was bored in the crib, and I was like, I'm gonna try to screen print some shit. And I just screen printed it all over the pants legs. Right. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, hold on, this kind of looks hard.
I know, I fucks with them. I still got your pair of
that's
jeans,
what
bro.
I wanted to say. And then I did the pop up, and you were the first person to pull up and cop a pair. You know what I mean? I appreciate that shit. Like,
no problem, dude.
100%.
Because you were someone I didn't talk to a lot, but I see what you were doing, and it was inspiring. Like, really, like,
I appreciate it.
Like, instead of me like hating on it, like I was like, fuck, man, like I need to do like get off my ass and like really get this shit rolling, you know? Because like it's been an idea to do something like this for a while, just, you know, I'd taken my time with it as well. But when I saw like I wanted to come check it out, man, and just, you know, support, and it really just lit a little fire under my ass, you know, just to get me going, you know.
Bro, honestly, you came a long way just from that time, because like I remember when you came, and after that we went across the street and got something to eat, you know what I mean, right there at the taco spot, and we were just talking about it, and you were telling me about Mulberry Dreams and like what you wanted to do with it and all that. Right. And then I look back, you know what I mean? I look up, and like a couple months later, you just hit the ground running, you know what I mean? You got all your stuff going, you got new designs coming out, and now you got the podcast going, you know what I mean? And that shit's fire, you know what I mean? No joke.
Thank you, man. I think kind of like what you said, you plan it all out before you do it. So for the longest time, like, you're one of the first people I really sat down and like just told a lot of my thoughts to and things. Because when I wanted to put it out and for people to see, I wanted to be like prepared. I wanted it to be legit, so people took it serious instead of just like something small, you know. So I dropped the clothing, like the brand first. Like I had some clothes and stuff, and then I always wanted to do a podcast. I just didn't know what I would name it or how I would even do it. And I was like, man, I'll just do it under this, you know, like just under one umbrella, and it kind of just worked. So
no, I feel that, bro. I think, like I was saying before we started recording, I think podcast is low-key the future, and especially the way like you can combine the two. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you could do the podcast is bringing all the people in.
It's the way to market. Yeah.
Like you get to shine a light on other people. You know what I mean? Like right now, you're doing an interview with me, like talking to me about my stuff. But at the end of the day, it's still Mulberry Dreams too, and you're still building your own. You know what I mean? So that I feel like that's a sweet spot in the game. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's dope.
No, it's good because I like to have you guys on, man, because there's a lot of people that I like, and they inspire me in some way, and I want them to come on and talk about what they're doing, man, because it's cool to me, you know. It's not just for everyone else, it's for me too, because I love to talk about things like this, you know. So So do you still make like YouTube videos?
I actually do, as far as like making them, but I haven't put any new ones out lately. Like my latest YouTube video. If you guys don't know, I got a YouTube channel called Plant-Based Billionaire, and it's kind of just where I talk about food and health and nature and all that type of shit. But I recently helped my mom build a garden in her backyard, and we recorded a full video on that. So I'm gonna drop it soon.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I definitely want to get back into that,
right?
Like, more so. I've just been spending so much time on endless, you know what I mean? Just
grinding,
doing
man.
that.
Yeah.
But like with this whole quarantine thing, it gave me some time just to reflect and get back to the basics and what I enjoy too. You know what I mean? Like just going outside and just watering my plants. That shit's so peaceful and like something I fuck with so much.
Right.
And it's not, you know what I mean? It's nothing too crazy. It's like it's just some plants.
Right. No, I get it. My dad does that. He goes up because he gets off in the mornings and he goes and waters the grass with the hose just for fucking ever.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just therapeutic for him or what, but he's just out there by himself chilling. Yeah. So that kind of makes sense. I get you on that.
Yeah.
So where'd you come up with that name, Plant-Based Billionaire? Because I know you're a vegan, correct?
Yeah, I am vegan, but you know what? On this podcast, I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and let the people know I do eat honey.
You eat honey?
Yeah, I be putting honey in my tea lately.
Yeah, you fucks with it?
I do.
So that doesn't count as
technically, there's a lot of people who say that bees are animals.
Right.
And honey don't count. But when it comes down to that stuff, at the end of the day, I don't like to label myself too much in a box, really.
Right.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, no matter what, I'm me. You know what I mean? I do what I feel. So if I wanted to go eat some meat right now, I would go eat some meat. If I wanted to go drink some milk right now, I would go drink some milk. So I had to get myself out of that label. You know what I mean? That's why plant-based is kind of a different thing. It's within the same thing. Like, plant-based means you are majority of what you eat is plant-based, meaning like fruits, vegetables, and none of that animals. You know what I mean? I don't eat animals or no dairy, but I do put honey in my tea. So I guess that counts as not vegan now. So I'm just a plant-based billionaire. But the way I came up with that name is basically what I said. The vegans
gonna be mad at you, man.
They are, man. They might be, but the real gonna understand. They're gonna feel it. You know what I mean?
Feel you. But so
I'm still saving the bees because I don't buy my own honey, but every now and then I'll put it into my tea. I still rep vegan gang.
Right. Yeah. Most definitely.
I don't know how you guys feel about that.
That's a discipline and a half, man.
Yeah.
I don't have any discipline when it comes to eating, bro. Like I'm hungry. Like if I want a burger, like, dude, I'm gonna go eat a burger. You know, it's hard for me not to eat.
Yeah.
Like something like that. I mean, I guess I'm just used to it. But like you said, I think before, I don't mean to get off topic, but I think before, like you said, like it's like 21 days or something if you don't do something.
A new habit.
Yeah, until it becomes a habit or whatever. So I did think about that. Well, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
But
honestly, so the way I came up with the name is I aspire to be a billionaire.
Yeah, dude.
Truthfully. You know what I mean? It's because nowadays I feel like a millionaire is not that much. It's really not.
Not really.
And I think if you're gonna set some goals, set them high as possible. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they say, shoot for the stars if you miss, or shoot for the moon if you miss, you'll land in the stars.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just aim as high as possible. So with calling myself that, I'm speaking it into existence and I'm embodying it and I'm just getting that feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I came up with the name, and I just felt like it just fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It made sense.
No, that's dope, man. I fucks with that. But so you came up with that first, yeah? Like you've been rocking with that for a while.
Yeah. How long ago did I come up with it? I think whenever I dropped the YouTube is when I came up with it. Yeah. But I've been vegan before that. You know what I mean? Like.
Right. Actually, Jesse Molina told me that a while ago. He's like, you said you're like, I'm just not gonna eat meat no more. That's what you decided.
Yeah, like about 5 years ago, like, if people don't know, I'm big onto like knowledge and spiritual stuff too. You know what I mean? So I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos and reading books and stuff like that. And one of the main reasons, besides health reasons, was like spiritual reasons. They were saying whenever you eat something that's dead, you're embodying that vibration. You know what I mean? Like things that are dead have a lower vibration. So if you eat living foods and stuff like that, it'll raise your vibration. So that was one of the main reasons I did it. Like I was so big onto that. You know what I mean? Just like how we were talking about Christian.
Yeah.
Back in high school, like we were both onto that. You know what I mean? Kind of separately, but we both always talk about that type of stuff too. And some of my other friends too. Like I would, anytime they'd come over, I'd be trying to show them books and interviews and different stuff like that. Like I'm huge onto that. So that was one of the main reasons I did it, and for health reasons. So I was like, all right, I'm done eating meat, and I stopped for 7 days. I just didn't eat no more meat. And then on the 7th day, the next day, I ate some turkey bacon, some chocolate chip waffles and turkey bacon. I remember, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then after I ate it, I was like, man, I can't even eat this shit no more. I'm done with it.
Right.
So then after that, I just never ate meat again, and I went vegetarian. I would just I would eat everything, you know, normal. I was living with my mom, and so whatever she would cook, I would still eat that, just minus the meat. I would just eat the sides and stuff like that. I wasn't too knowledgeable on like actual health benefits or what I should eat in substitute for this and for that.
Right.
I just stopped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And probably a year and a half later, I think I went vegan, and I just you know what I mean, I cut out the milk and dairy. So it's really a process. Like people sometimes they'll ask me. I have some people, they'll be like, "Hey man, how did you stop eating meat or something like that?" Because I want to try it. You know what I mean? And I just tell them it's really a process. Like I slowly, gradually, you know what I mean. First I did it in my mind. Then I stopped eating meat. Then I went vegan. Then you know what I mean. I learned about like the actual health benefits and what it does for the environment. And then I started caring about the animals. I'm gonna be honest, I did not give a fuck about the animals at first. Like I wasn't like I don't want to eat meat because it harms the animals.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
I wasn't one of those type of vegans. I was on it for some other reasons. But then afterwards, I realized those things too, and I'm like, wait, hold on, that makes sense too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because they really are living animals and stuff too. And another thing I want to say is like, I'm also not the type of vegan or person who doesn't eat meat who like talks down or frowns upon someone who does, or you know what I mean? If I see them eating it, I'm like telling them to do that. You know what I mean? To each their own. You know what I mean? That's what worked best for me, and I just live my truth. You know what I mean? What I feel.
Right.
Just like
yeah.
that.
I think the fact that you had like a purpose starting out
Yeah.
is like a big reason why maybe you and people who have a purpose, why they can do it versus someone just like, man, I'm just going to not eat meat and not really have like a real meaning behind it. And then eventually they'll just be like, fuck, I'm going to go get a burger or something, you know?
Yeah.
But it seemed like you really like thought about it before you did it. And then, man, and you're still doing it. So, and then along the way it seemed like you learned more and gained more knowledge on, you know, other aspects of it and stuff.
Yeah.
And I like appreciate it more.
Yeah.
But so how was it like in your household when you told like your mom or whatever, like, I'm not gonna do this no more? And then
see, the thing with my mom, shout out to my mom, I know you're gonna watch this, she's super supportive with everything and anything that I do. You know what I mean? So if I said I wanted to do that, you know what I mean, she's with it. If I said I wanted to jump off a bridge, she probably helped me jump off a bridge, even though it's not it's the wrong thing to do. But as far as the support, it was always there, but they still ate meat. My mom, my sister, all my other family, they still ate meat. You know what I mean? If I go to my dad's house, my uncle's house, you know what I mean? They're barbecuing, they're cooking. You don't want none of these ribs? You don't want none of these burgers? You know what I mean?
How'd you feel?
Like,
you were like, well, it
I'm
smells
like,
good.
I'm like, nah, that's the thing. It always smells good, and I know it still tastes good. It's just like, at this point, I don't really desire it anymore. It just be funny, honestly, like whenever they do that, because I feel them though. You know what I mean? Because once you like, if you're so into a way of thinking or just a way of living. You know what I mean? It's like if you tell somebody you don't eat meat, it's just like, you know what I mean? What the fuck? What are you talking about? Everybody eats meat. You know what I mean? I grew up my whole life eating meat, fast food. Like I was the most picky eater as a child. Like I would only eat chicken nuggets and fries and burgers with only meat and cheese. I would not eat no lettuce. I wouldn't eat any tomatoes, no salad. I'm not fucking with none of that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's kind of crazy whenever I think about it like that. I would have probably never thought when I was younger that I would stop eating meat.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I do have some family members who don't eat meat. Not like as far as in my immediate, like my mom or dad, but and a couple friends too.
Right.
You know.
I feel like it's getting more. There's like more people doing it, more people aware of it and stuff. Yeah. You know, so that's crazy though. I couldn't imagine, but like you said, hold on, I'm choking over here. Like you said about like the barbecue.
Yeah.
It just seems like that's just like a cultural thing.
It is, for sure.
So, like, there's nothing like some fucking barbecue ribs at at a cookout or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's kind of like a lot more to it. Yeah. So that is funny how they would like give you shit for it. It's like, what the hell you mean?
Yeah, you know what I mean? They till this day, for sure. Yeah. I was just over there recently at like my uncle's house, and he was making food and stuff. I think it was like some fried fish or something like that. He's like, yeah. We got some fried fish back there. If you're hungry, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm like, nah, man, I already ate before I came. Yeah. You know, they know though that I'm vegan, but they still every time.
I didn't realize how much you could actually still eat.
Yeah.
Because when I went over to your pad when you were in Merced.
Yeah.
And I think I caught like some shorts or whatever.
Yeah.
You had like a meal made, and you want some, and I was like, fuck, okay, you know, I ain't gonna turn down some food.
Yeah.
And then I ate it. I was like, wait, I thought you were vegan. You're like, I am. Yeah. I was like, this is vegan.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, that shit's smack, bro. Like I could eat that all day.
No, I feel it. That's the thing.
What was that? What was it?
It was some pasta with like I don't know if it was Beyond Meat or this meat called Gardein. I call it meat, but it's not really meat.
Right.
It's like substitute meat. No meat or dairy in it. It's vegan, and it's basically the same thing as like spaghetti, but just with the pasta, you know what I mean, and the substitute meat. So like what people don't realize is you can really eat a lot of the same stuff, and it has a lot of the same taste and texture. It's just different substitutes. You know what I mean? Like like I said, I'm not the person to tell somebody to go vegan, but I would suggest like just try it. You know what I mean? Just try it. Like, I'm not saying switch your diet, but just to see what it tastes like. It's not gonna hurt you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is that shit more expensive though? Like a lot of that organic stuff?
That's another confusion. It's really not, bro. Not. I think
people be saying that. Like it's kind of a deterrent. Like I don't know why.
People pay more, bro. Like if you go buy a steak, bro, that shit's expensive.
Oh yeah,
steak's expensive, bro. You got people like to eat steak. People like to eat shrimp and all this shit. You know what I mean? That's just more expensive. I don't spend much on food. I'm a really simple eater nowadays. Yeah. Is that a word, eater?
It might be. I think so. Yeah. So like, what do you snack on?
Snacks. I'll fuck with like some green apples with almond butter.
Okay. Smoothies. Because you can't eat peanut butter, right?
Yeah, I can eat peanut butter.
Oh no, that's okay.
Yeah, I can eat peanut butter. I just like almond butter, but something like that. Maybe I'll eat ice cream. Okay. They have dairy-free ice cream. I'll hit up the ice cream spot. Yeah. Same shit. I'll eat that. Every now and then I'll get like dairy-free brownie, or you know what I mean, or some banana bread. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Smoothies all day.
Yeah, you're the smoothie king, man. That was I watched that whole YouTube video you made when you like made the smoothie and like how you did it, and that was the day I hit you up. I'm like, man, I'm gonna try to eat better just because the way, like, you know, like I could do that, you know. But that's still a discipline. It's still hard. Yeah. But
honestly, bro, I feel like what's best is just implementing like the stuff into your diet. Like, even if you eat meat, like, okay, you go ahead, eat meat, you know what I mean? Do your thing. But every now and then, you know, drink a green juice or eat some kale and some shit like that.
Right. Just be more balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not hot Cheetos every day.
Yeah, you know. Eat the hot Cheetos, you know, and then drink a green juice.
Yeah, for sure. But I appreciate the knowledge, man. I feel like this is something that's not really that known because people just, you know, eat whatever. Especially nowadays with all the processed foods.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to sift through that, you know.
Yeah.
But if you know what, like, I mean, you've been doing this shit for 5 years, so I'd say you're pretty much know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah, so. for the most part, every day though, I still always learning some new stuff about it because that's the thing. You never know everything.
Right.
That's when you get it. When you get fucked up.
When you act like you got it all figured out.
You know everything, bro. That's when you blew it. Like.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I'm always still learning and still
finding new recipes
and just trying to improve on myself because as a vegan, you can still be very unhealthy. Like there's so much processed vegan stuff too.
Really?
Yeah, bro. Like just as much. Like all the same shit. It's processed in vegan food too.
Right.
So I
didn't know that.
You can be vegan and be very unhealthy still.
That's crazy.
That's why I say it's about implementing like the good stuff in it, because that's what really counts at the end of the day. Not necessarily being vegan or plant based.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or even just simply, like, instead of drinking apple juice, eat an apple. Yeah. Or like, because that's all sugar, and like apples like natural, or like, you know, actual fruit versus like flavored.
Yeah, shit, like from concentrate. They got some 100% apple juice.
Right.
You know what I mean? But most of it is like from concentrate, and they got hella sugars and shit like that. But
that's why it tastes good.
Yeah, I fuck with apple juice though.
Yeah, apple juice is good, man. But so you graduated from BUHAC?
Yeah.
Across town?
Yeah, BUHAC.
And then what year did you graduate?
I graduated in 2014.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what'd you do after that? Did you go to college, or what was your like mindset back then?
Yeah, right after high school, I did not want to go to college.
Right.
Honestly, in high school, I wanted to move to LA when I was 16 and just stop going to school. I asked my mom, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Man, I know what I want to do already. I want to just, you know what I mean, move to LA when I'm 16 and just get going. But obviously I didn't. I kept going to school and I graduated. And afterwards, I didn't want to go to college. So I just didn't go for a while. And eventually after that, maybe a year later or just maybe even months, I went to the JC for a little while just to get the feel of it and see what it's like.
I feel like JC's extended high school, man, honestly.
Yeah. And it like I had one cool class that I really liked. I liked psychology. It was a dope class. But besides that, I was like, what I want to do, I really don't need to go to school. You know what I mean? Like I could get a business degree cuz I want to do business, you know. But they say the best way to learn business is to get into business and just try, experiment, fail and prosper, you know what I mean? Learn from it as you go.
Kind of more like entrepreneurship.
Yeah, like that's the best way. So after that, I stopped. I didn't go to the JC anymore. After high school, honestly, I was kind of like, I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to go about doing it. You know what I mean? Because like when you're fresh out of high school and you go to college, the shit's already kind of laid down for you. Like, you know, you go here, you go to college, you go into the dorm, you party, you learn, you know what I mean? You meet people.
It's kind of a set pathway.
Yeah, it's kind of a set pathway. Yeah. Like what I wanted to do was not necessarily a set pathway, or I didn't know anybody personally who did exactly what I want to do. So I had to just figure it out. So after that, you know what I mean? I didn't go to school. I think I stopped, and then I went back. I tried online school too for a little bit. I didn't like that.
Yeah. It has its ups and downs.
Yeah, and then I think I went to the JC one more time to try it again.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then after that, I was like, okay, it's set in stone. I'm not going back to college. It's not for me. I'm building my own university.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So what you wanted to
university,
yeah. So what you wanted to do, do you feel like being from like a small town kind of made it difficult? Or just not having as much opportunity around, or even people who's trying to do what you're doing?
Yeah, I think I didn't have as many resources, for sure, or I didn't have as many outlets. But the thing nowadays with the internet is, no matter where you're at, you could be in the smallest town in Arkansas, and you'll figure it out and make a way if you just go on the internet and just there's people like you or people who are into something you're into or whatever you want to build. You can learn about it and build a following from it and build a whole business from it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That is true. But at the same time, I think, well, I mean, YouTube's been around forever, but the way it's utilized and used now is kind of still a new thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's not really that old. I mean, when I was in high school, that's like when Twitter like started, I think, or I was like middle school. Like, I mean, that's not really that long ago, you know? So it's came a long way, and it's like, I think you're right. Like, it's allowed people from anywhere to at least connect with the world and not feel like they're in a small box, you know?
Yeah.
So
honestly, I've been doing this. I just thought about it. I kind of missed this point. I've been doing YouTube for a long time too. Like, I think I started in 2012 or 2013. I started doing snapback reviews on YouTube. That's really how I got into the vintage game. I can't believe I left that out of this.
Really? Is it still on YouTube?
Yeah, it's still on YouTube. You guys can go check it out right now. The channel's called Fantasy OG. PHANTAH.
Damn, I didn't even know about that.
And that was my Xbox gamer tag, by the way.
Oh, okay.
And I just used it for that.
All right.
But
my
that's how I
fault.
got into it.
Say it one more time because I interrupted you.
Fantasy OG. PHANTAHSY OG.
That's what's up, man.
And go watch those old videos. But that's how I started because people were big into snapbacks at the moment. And for some reason, I always start digging deep. You know what I mean? So I learned where they were getting like the designs from the current snapbacks from, and it was from the old snapbacks like shark tooth snapbacks or splash snapbacks, whatever. Just the whole idea of a snapback in general. Like people were wearing in our era were wearing fitteds before that, and then it switched to the snapbacks. You know what I mean? And everybody was on it, and I wanted to learn about it. And then there's a whole community on YouTube back then of people doing snapback reviews and going to thrift stores, getting them for $1, like the same ones that the big companies like Mitchell and Ness were ripping off, say the least, or just recreating, you know what I mean, where they got the designs from.
Right.
So I got into that. And that's really how I got into thrifting.
Do you think that happens a lot with bigger companies? Like, I mean, you got a small fish, just, you know, they make dope shit, but then like a company like Mitchell and Ness has like the financial power to like mass produce something like that, or kind of steal you know what I'm saying?
I do feel like that, but with that situation, I feel like it was more of like like everything repeats itself type of thing. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, there's a lot of things like styles that are circulated. Like shit, I'll wear. My mom's like, they used to wear that in the '80s.
Yeah,
you know?
That's what I realized with vintage. Like I'll find. I remember I found this Betty Boop shirt, and it was the exact same one that Supreme was releasing at that time. You know what I mean? That same season. And I found the original.
Same with that Eagle, like you had like a Eagle sweater or something.
Yeah, Supreme had that one.
Yeah.
That's
taxing on it too.
Yeah. So like you could call it ripping off, you could call it paying homage, or you could just call it you know what I mean, history repeating itself, but I don't know. I think that's a good place for it, really. Like, because like they say, there's nothing new under the sun, really.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you can make an original idea, but to a degree, it's already been done. You can implement on it and switch it up. So it is kind of cool when people like go back and reference some stuff. I actually respect it a lot. Like,
right, I was about to ask you what you thought about it.
Yeah, I actually respect it a lot. I think it's the coolest shit, low key. Like how they can just, you know what I mean? They can find this old sweater that nobody has ever seen. Like maybe a long time ago they seen it, but our generation has never seen it, and bring it back and give it some new life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, just like that Eagle sweater or whatever. I would have never known that unless you didn't like you thrifted it and then you told me about it, and I was like, I looked it up and I was like, that's literally the same sweater.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know that. I just thought they came up. I would wonder too, how the fuck they come up with new shit like that every season, you know?
Yeah, that's basically what their whole brand is based off of, is
but Supreme,
bringing old stuff to life.
Yeah, Supreme's interesting because they weren't even like they didn't even plan on being as big as they are. Yeah, they just wanted to be like a little skate shop.
Exactly, and that's kind of how like the biggest and best stuff starts, like organically and small. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe they had aspirations to be bigger. You know what I mean? Or maybe not, but That's a lot of the time how it starts, and that's one reason why I feel like they're still so solid today. Like I know they've sold the brand like partially, and it's kind of diluted it. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, they got so much like history behind themselves that it's always respected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they built it from just that small skate shop, and they had all the real skaters who were really about that life, just living carefree and, you know what I mean, embodying that culture.
Right. And that's why they made the store like open, because it
Yeah.
was for skaters to just come in with their boards and they didn't care, you know.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that. And then what I was fucking with Supreme pre Louis Vuitton collab.
Yeah.
And I think when they did that collaboration, it totally like changed the way it changed the way I look at Supreme now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I know. I recently did hear someone say like that they heard about Supreme after it was Ronald.
It was Ronald.
Ronald. I heard it from your podcast.
Yeah.
And he said that he heard about it after that, and that made me realize, I'm like, damn, some people heard about it because of that. You know what I mean?
Well, let's think about it. When I was like buying Supreme and shit,
yeah,
they probably had 7 million followers.
Okay.
And now I think they're close to 20 mil.
Yeah.
Within a matter of three years.
Yeah.
And that's insane. But
Yeah.
it really was the Louis Vuitton and just that red with the Louis Vuitton designing. It was crazy.
I guess that really did take them to a whole nother level. I didn't realize it, honestly.
Funny thing is, Louis Vuitton actually did a cease and desist on one of their designs back in the early 2000s. I think on one of the skateboards.
Nah, yeah, they did the LV Supreme collab. That's another thing that they're known for, is like just doing shit like that. Like they'll collab with somebody and the other people don't know they're collabing with them.
Right, they're like, wait a minute, what the f-?
Yeah, wait, I didn't, hold on. But I like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I actually found because Stussy did a collab with Louis Vuitton too back in the day. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I didn't know that.
But they also got a cease and desist. Honestly, I think Stussy might have done it before Supreme.
Think so?
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably where Supreme got it.
Yeah. But anyways, I found that shirt. The original one of them, the Stussy Louis Vuitton deceased at a
you got it?
thrift. Yeah, I got it. I won't ever sell it.
I was about to ask you though, how much you think that joint will sell for?
I've seen similar ones being listed for like 80 to 120. I haven't seen that.
Wow.
I haven't seen the exact colorway I have though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The colorway I have is kind of I would expect it to be the top dollar as far as the t-shirt goes, because it's just the regular brown and light brown. Like real Louis Vuitton colors, you know.
See, I heard a Stussy actually from when I started listening to Dom Kennedy.
Okay. Yeah.
Like
Dom
he would
Kennedy
rap about it.
Stussy,
Yeah. But what was like what were you into like streetwear wise, like when you were in high school? Like what was like the first street brand that like really got you into like
my
streetwear?
Honestly, the first streetwear brand was in 6th grade, and it was DGK.
Okay.
That's when I started skating in 6th grade with all my friends who went to Schaefer. You know what I mean? Shout out Schaefer. But yeah, DGK was really the first streetwear brand. And I just fucked with it. It was Dirty Ghetto Kids, you know what I mean? I skated. I was a black kid. It was started by Stevie Williams, who was a skateboarder. And in skateboarding, there's not really too many black skaters in general, at least not in the public's eye.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that it kind of resonated with me well. And they had the hardest designs at the moment, if you ask me. Like, I still have this one DGK shirt from 6th grade that I have, and I just have it tucked away. Like, there's certain stuff that I'll just tuck away. I know that it has no type of value right now besides the value I put on it and that I like. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it just meant a lot to me, and they had some of the hardest designs. And everybody was fucking with DGK at the moment.
So how did you get into skateboarding?
6th grade. Like, that's
couple
how,
of your buddies or whatever?
Yeah, there was a couple of my friends who started skating before me. Like, you know what I mean? Some people who went to Schaefer before, they were like a grade older. Like Armando and Ivan and some dudes like that. And then some of my immediate friends, you know what I mean, who were in the same grade as me, they started skating. And I just thought it was the coolest shit. I was interested, and I went and got a board. My first board was a Plan B Danny Way board, black and gold with some black and gold Thunder trucks, and I don't remember the wheels, but it was hard. I remember it very vividly.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Cause I feel like you're pretty fucking nice on the like skateboarding and shit. Like you used to do like little videos, like you'd go to like San Francisco and shit like that and skate.
Yeah.
And you would go with a couple of your buddies and just fuck
skate,
around
have
all day.
Fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I'm solid at it. You know what I mean?
Dude.
I'm not the world's best skater or the world's worst skater. I really just do it for fun. Like that shit is so fun to me.
Right. So you never like wanted to take it like super serious, or you just did it just to have fun, or?
As far as serious goes, like I remember I played basketball from like 1st grade all the way up to 9th grade, and I quit playing basketball because then it started interfering with my skating time. You know what I mean? I was like, hold on, I think I'd rather skate. You know what I mean? Than do any of this stuff. So that's probably as serious as I took it. Well, I don't think I ever really wanted to be sponsored or nothing like that. You know what I mean?
Right. Do you feel like you could though? Like,
man,
like imagine having like a
nowadays,
dude. Imagine
you ever watching them?
Yeah, they're pretty crazy.
They're going crazy, bro. They're going crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
I think I could do something else in the skateboarding world. You know what I mean? But I'm not getting sponsored right now.
Right.
I'm gonna just skate for fun.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Well, that's dope, man. Because I know that's like to get good like that. It takes a long time, like a lot of hours and effort put in. You know.
Yeah. Shout out to Louis Caceres too. He was I've known him for a long time, man. Like, cause we grew up like around the corner from each other.
Right.
And I think I'm like 2 grades older than him or 2 years older than him. But I remember him as a kid, you know what I mean? He was like in 1st grade or something. I was in 2nd or something like that. And then I remember when I started skating, I would go to the Atwater skate park, and he was just the rawest dude ever there, bro. Everybody, if you skate in Atwater or even in Merced, you know of him and know Louis. Like he was the hardest. He could have got sponsored.
He was
what
nice.
I mean? Yeah, he was nice. You know what I mean? R.I.P.
Yeah. Sure. Rest in peace of Louis.
Yeah.
That's dude. There's a lot of people who knew him.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Like my buddy Antonio from work, he has the band, the wristband and stuff, wears it every day.
Yeah.
So rest in peace to him, man. That's awesome though, dude. I feel like you like you did sports and stuff, but then you also kind of just did your own thing, man.
Yeah.
Like you always seemed like a unique individual to me.
Yeah.
Because like all I ever did was I was just all sports like all day. That's all I did,
that.
You know.
I feel that. I mean, to be realistic, I feel like my sports career, like as far as basketball, I wasn't gonna go too crazy with it.
Yeah.
I'm actually all right in basketball. If anybody wants to see me, you guys want to see me on the court, honestly. But you know what I mean. I'm not the tallest dude.
Yeah.
I'm not dunking on nobody right now, and shit like that.
Come on,
man.
man.
To be realistic, you know what I mean? I'm not.
Allen Iverson was like fucking.
I do like 6 something.
Nah, he looks short compared to everyone else.
Nah, compared to everybody else for sure. But yeah.
Or fucking Muggsy, bruh.
Yeah, nah, bro. If I really wanted to, I probably still could have. You know what I mean? And just went crazy with it and really perfected it and tried to get good at it. But when I came back into basketball, like in 9th grade, they started taking it too serious. You know what I mean? I'm used to just like. That was one of the main reasons, not because of that, but it was because they were taking it too serious. Like, I remember playing rec, you just pass the ball around, you know what I mean? You go do whatever you want, you score, you shoot around. They had plays already ready. These people were practicing in the summer, like in the AAU summer leagues and shit like that. I wasn't doing that, I was skating. And I came and they have all these plays and shit. That shit was overwhelming. I'm like, man, I'm skating. Good. I'm done with this.
That's crazy. That's what's up, though. I just feel like maybe you just, you're just trying to chill, just enjoy shit, which is dope, man. I think people take life too serious sometimes. Yeah. So. But.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about the future, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
We talk about the past, the present, and I feel like it's important to talk about the future.
For
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't like to say too much, but I want to speak some things into existence and say some things, too. Like, lately, I've been gardening and stuff like that. I really want to get a big farm one day. Like, that's my newest shit. Like, I be telling my mom I want to be a farmer.
For real?
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I think it's good to, like I feel like when you're a kid, you always say, like, what you want to be. You know what I mean? And, like, oh, I want to be an artist. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. But then once you get to a certain age, people stop. You know what I mean? They stop having dreams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like one of my latest ones, and I am implementing it now, but it's to be a farmer. You know what I mean? Because it's just back to the basics. It makes you really realize what's important, like to be able to grow your own food, self-sustainability. You know what I mean? Especially with everything going on right now. Like personally, I wasn't too tripping off the whole quarantine and all that. But let's say, you know what I mean, the grocery stores did shut down one day. You got to know how to live off the land, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Getting back to the basics, there's something about that just feels so good inside you. Right. You know what I mean? So
I think a lot of people, I mean, probably almost everyone's kind of strayed away from that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like in today's society, that's
taking everything for granted.
Yeah, that shit is not. It's not the norm.
That's honorable, bro. Honestly, like I've never heard anyone say that before. You know?
Yeah, especially being from here. Like you see a bunch of farmers and shit like that.
Yeah.
But I never thought about it like that. Like,
bro, they got bread
walking around wearing boots and shit. You know what I mean?
And they're all rich.
Yeah, exactly. That's where a lot
because everyone got to eat.
For sure, there's wealth in farming.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Is there anything else that I know you didn't really want to get into, like your like personal clothing shit, but like what's the end goal for Endless? So you want just everything under that as well, or because like I mean it's like a real big thrifter hub, you know?
Yeah. See, the thing with Endless, what I will say is where I want to take it is just beyond just thrifting and selling at the markets. You know what I mean? Because it's like when I'm out there, I'm like, what separates me from the next dude who's doing this and bringing the clothes? You know what I mean? Obviously, it's like you got different pieces, you got different tastes, but it's all about how you deliver it. What I want Endless to be one day is a store that you can go and get things curated by me that I personally think are very cool. You know what I mean? So I'm working on right now a way to deliver that better. You know what I mean? In a cooler way, something that's gonna let you know that like it's Endless University. It's not just I'm buying old clothes and selling them.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's something bigger than that.
Bro, you could get a whole plot of land, have your farm with the whole storefront, you know what I'm saying? And call it the university, you know? That'd be crazy, dude.
See, the farming stuff is gonna fall under plant-based billionaire.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean? It's mapped out.
I know you're out here double identity, man.
Bro, it's mapped out. I'm telling you guys. I'm saying it right here.
I feel like
right
your Twitter vibes more plant-based billionaire, and the
Instagram's
the Endless University. That shit's dope.
It's honestly like everything lately been more plant-based billionaire because like I can't go to the thrift stores. I can't do any of that. I can still buy online, which I still do, and I can still buy from other people and still support them and sell online. And honestly, stuff's still buying and going. You know what I mean? I'm still selling online. But I really just been able to, you know, garden and make my smoothies and just be peaceful.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
That's like one of my truths, you know what I mean? As far as like something I can do every day and I don't have to try too hard with it and I don't have to think too much about it, you know what I mean? With like the clothes and stuff like that, I put a lot more thought into it. You know what I mean?
Right.
This I'm just living. You know what I mean? This is what I do every day, every morning type stuff.
Yeah.
Like on my Instagram stories, you'll see me. I'll blend a smoothie. I'll water my garden. You know what I mean? Show like I got some green onions right now that I'm growing from a green onion. Like you just plant it in water and the roots grow from it. Just showing stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's really what I love right now.
So has that, like living in LA hasn't changed that? I mean, that's a crazy world down there. It's a lot faster, a lot more distraction. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It kind of did shift it because when I was still living in Merced, like at the apartment, I was on my plant-based billionaire tip. You know what I mean? Making videos and stuff like that. And then when I moved to LA, I that's when I stopped making the YouTube videos and I just locked in on
I just feel like you got busy down there, dude.
I did,
and like you gained a huge following, like pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know, you gained a pretty good following.
Nah, bro. It's like because the community is built over there already. So all I had to go do is put in some work over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I felt was very necessary. But like I'm saying, like now since I'm back, it gives me a chance to balance it out. Like, though, obviously, I feel like we keep talking about those two things, but that's kind of like my main.
Well, that's your shit,
two
dude.
Things
that's,
right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As far as I got a million things, honestly, but I don't want to overwhelm the people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all about delivering it correctly.
Well, there's a lot that goes into both of those.
Yeah.
There's a lot about you that I think, people should know that probably didn't know.
Yeah.
So before we end this, there's one thing that we both wanted to discuss that's on more of a serious note. I wanted to say rest in peace to Ahmaud Arbery.
Rest in peace.
So if you don't know, which most people probably already know, he was straight up murdered in Georgia. He was going for a jog, and a father and a son basically, have you seen the video?
I did see the video.
It basically just straight up killed him, man.
Yeah.
There's really no way to put it.
Yeah. And before I start talking about it, I wanted to say that I thought it was very important to talk about this too. I know you told me about it and you were like you wanted to talk about it, but not to let it overshadow any of the positive things that we both got going on. But I feel like it's so important to talk about this. So yeah, I seen the video, and truthfully, I don't like to watch those videos because you see them too often nowadays. Yeah. And it's you know what I mean? It's 2020. People are still out here like that, and they're still doing that.
But I ain't really seen anyone. I haven't seen one like that.
Not like that. Not like that.
Brutal.
But I've seen some other shootings on video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing that stuck out to me about this is, there's literally, zero excuse for that. He was going for a jog, and obviously these two guys were racist. One was the father, and another one was son. Actually, the father was retired police officer.
Yeah.
And what sticks out for me, because I watched it and it kind of angered me, and I'm glad that I was able to go a few days before talking about it.
Yeah.
But people, what's crazy is that there's a world in America that still thinks like that, lives like that, you know, down south. And I think within the household, certain households in the South, they still, raise their kids that way.
Yeah.
And that's a big issue. Lack of diversity, lack of just knowledge in general on
other people,
yeah,
cultures.
Yeah, and because that racism like that is learned, so it can definitely be unlearned. And ignorance like that is a choice, so therefore you could choose not to be like that.
Yes.
But what I do think is when you're a kid and you look up to your dad and he's telling you stories about, your grandpa, your great grandpa who fought in the Confederate War for this and that or whatever it is. Yeah. You're gonna eat that up.
Yeah, for sure.
Until you get older and you start thinking for yourself. So that's where it goes. It's still no excuse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And let's just say they had some BS excuse that they suspected him being a home robber or burglar or whatever. Yeah. And you know what? That wasn't the case, but let's just say it was the case.
Yeah.
There's still zero reason for a citizen to go out and do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You still murdered somebody regardless.
Yeah.
But that wasn't even the case. So this was just flat out I think it was just flat out murder, man. And it was all because of race.
Yeah, nah, it's definitely crazy, no joke. And the crazy part to me is that they were the ones recording it. Usually
that was the third. That was because they said there was an accomplice.
Yeah.
That was him or her, whoever it was.
Yeah, well, it definitely wasn't somebody who was with the the black dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't know. I think that's crazy because, like I said, I have seen videos like that before of police killing people, and it may be from someone else recording it, or it may be just from the camera that they have recording it. But I've never seen nothing like that, of them recording it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know. The thing with this stuff is whenever it's brought up or whenever this type of stuff happens, it's like, what can we do? You know what I mean? Like, what's the correct move to do next? You know what I mean? And I think that's what's important.
What I really think, what I know is that when something like this happens, it divides us.
Yeah.
I think
it
a lot of
divides
people,
or brings you together.
What happened?
I said, yeah, it either divides you or brings you together.
Well, what I think it does is it brings, like, you know, I feel like the black culture, it brings them together, but a lot of people just say, you know, fuck all white, like fuck white people, fuck all white people. But there's a lot of, you know, like if we were to all come together as a unit, that's what's gonna help these situations versus just kind of separating it, you know, as a whole. Yeah. But I mean, I understand, you know, why people feel the way they feel, and that's why it's hard for me to even talk about it, because, you know what, I don't fully understand that. Yeah. You know, what that's like.
Yeah. See, and I feel both angles of it. You know what I mean? Because, like they say, like, you know what I mean, to start somewhere, you gotta start within your people. You know what I mean?
Which I think that's what the Black Lives Matter movement was trying to do.
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know too much about exactly everything with the movement. I don't.
Well, it started, I think you were still in high school when it started. And you know what? Also, around here is super diverse, man. And there's shit that goes on, but it ain't even close to what they have, like, you have to deal with in the South, man. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Honestly, though, I do. I think this is how I think on it. Like, I think that the people, like black people and minorities and all that, they definitely should stick together, and they should build, you know what I mean, and just work together as a people for sure. And I also think after we do that, like, or if you got that down within your own people, you know what I mean, and then you got to incorporate it with everybody, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean, there is gonna be everybody on the earth, you know what I mean. There's gonna be blacks, there's gonna be whites, there's gonna be Mexican, there's gonna be Chinese. So at the end of the day, we do got to work together. At the end of the day, no joke. But I feel like with the black people and the culture there, at least the current history of like stuff that's been going on in America, like it wasn't that long ago when all this type of stuff was happening. So
a generation or two.
Their thing is like this. They're still trying to, or we're still trying to, you know what I mean, build something back up in America for ourselves. You know what I mean, and stand for ourselves still. And people are still trying to get their rights to a degree. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they definitely do still got to do that, and they still got to build as a black community before they can integrate properly and come together as one. It only makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, it's like me not having anything together, but I wanna go over here and help somebody else get something together. You know what I mean? It's like, how can I do that? And I don't even know how to get myself together. Right. That makes sense. I mean? Yeah. So it's like, you have to do that, but that's not the end point. You know what I mean? The end point is, at the end of the day, we all are going to be together. Before it's all said and done, everybody is going to be together, if you like it or not. Like, the predictions are by 2050, I think it was, the average person is going to be mixed. Right. You know what I mean? Yep. So eventually the lines are just going to get blurred and blurred. And is it good? Is it bad? It's what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
And probably they'll find something else to
yeah, it's gonna be
differentiate people, you know.
Like right now, I remember Kanye West said it like he said racism is over. It's classism nowadays. You know what I mean? I think there's still some racism, but what he's saying is, with the classism, I feel that, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, because you could be a poor white person, you know what I mean, and the rich white people are still gonna look at you a type of way. You could be a poor black person and the rich white people are still going to look at you away, or even the rich black people or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. To a degree, there's always going to be classism. Like, if a homeless person can't walk into Noble, you know what I mean, the expensive ass restaurant, people are going to look at them crazy no matter what you are. Right. What, you know what I mean? It's like, it's classism on top of that, on racism and all that.
And for in the South, I think that it's just deeply rooted down there, man. And it's going to be hard. the cycle needs to be broken.
Yeah.
And it's going to start with the youth.
Yeah.
And they just need to break the cycle. But
nah, for sure.
But like you said, it hasn't been that long, man. Like when
Yeah.
was like schools were segregated not that long ago.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So there's still.
That's why the people feel so.
Right.
They still feel some type of way.
Like there's still grandfathers alive who
Yeah.
live through that, who still feel that way.
Exactly.
And they
And
talk to their kids about it.
There's still like grandpas and grandmas that have been victim to slavery or to just that way of thinking. You know what I mean? But
so it's gonna have to start with the youth. And
yeah, for sure.
I think with us too at our age, speaking up on things like this and
yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
Cause like me and you, like I'm black. I don't know what race. White.
Just white. Bro.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But like me and you, we don't look at not at all. We don't look at each other as anything like any boredom of like racism or anything like that.
And I feel that has a lot to do with how I was raised, a lot to do with where I was raised as well. I mean, growing up, man, I had, black friends, white friends, Mexican friends, Asian friends. But when I was young, they weren't, like, you weren't my black friend. You were just my friend.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't differentiate you like that. And I wasn't taught that.
Yeah.
I learned about it as I got older and realized, all of that. And I think I appreciate my parents for raising me that way because it allowed me to be more mindful and open-minded and learn about different cultures and be a part of different cultures and be accepting of that. And when you live down in an area where it's predominantly white and that's all it is, that's all you know. Yeah. So, but it doesn't give you a right to feel the way you feel, but that plays a huge factor in that.
No, for sure. Hell yeah.
So
that's big. At the end of the day, it starts with that. Like, it's going to start with our generation, how we raise our kids and stuff like that. Like, whites, blacks, or whatever. It's all about what you teach them. It's really about good people at the end of the day. Yeah, because that's what I'm all about.
I mean, we were friends, but like we never hung out like that. Yeah. But I just always appreciated you for being a good person and admired what you did and that was it, man. That's all it is for me. It's not. I don't care what you look like. You know? So I think if more people thought that way and were more knowledgeable, it just starts with education and knowledge. Yeah, and for sure. That's, like I said, racism is learned, therefore it can be unlearned. Yeah. So. Yeah. But
one other thing I wanted to say too is because like I normally don't be talking about like this type of stuff. Right. But like I thought it was important too. But with a lot of black people and stuff, they gotta realize that their history goes beyond just slavery in America. You know what I mean? Before that, people were kings and queens and stuff like that too. Yeah. I just feel like I gotta say that. You know what I mean? You gotta sprinkle that in because it gives the people gives them some. You know what I mean? It gives them something inside of them. Like you gotta realize, there was just slavery recently, but before that, you guys weren't slaves only. You know what I mean? Right. It's some stuff that people don't talk about in America. Like before then, you know what I mean? In Africa and all that stuff, they were kings and queens and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just important self-knowledge to know, for sure.
It's something positive to look back on.
Yeah, something positive.
So much negative.
Exactly. Because if you're going to look at in the past, you got to look all the way in the past, too. Right. You know what I mean? But we got to work on today and where we're at into the future.
Right. And I appreciate you talking with me about it. I feel like being a white person, and, white privilege and all that is a real thing. So, but you could use that to, instead of just all the negative ways, there's ways to use it to not just your advantage, but to your community's advantage, to everyone's advantage by speaking up about these things.
Yeah, for sure.
When people are listening to you and making it known and, given the knowledge that you have, giving it to other people, because that's the only way this is going to end. And it's going to take a long time, sadly. But it's going to start with everyone speaking up and letting everyone know, like, that's not okay. And then, because you know what, like, you see shit on social media, and if enough people are feeling one type of way, it's going to make other people feel that way as well. Yeah. So if there's a mass group of people, like, this is unacceptable, that'll eventually be the full majority. Yeah. So when anyone does something other than that, they're gonna pay the price for it.
Yeah, because it's like, you know what I mean? It outweighs it.
Right.
like that's why the situation with this, like, that's why the people got arrested, not because of anything else, is because everybody was posting it, everybody was retweeting it. Like,
right.
This shit happened in February. I didn't even realize that.
Happened in February, and because down there, that type of attitude
is common.
Yeah. And the saying this is wrong does not outweigh that it is what it is.
Yeah.
And you know what? What's scary is how many guys like that have been killed like that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
And we'll never know about. That just disappeared.
I seen that. Yeah. You know? I seen someone say that, and it's the truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because until the stuff comes to light like that, they're not going to post that. Right. You know what I mean? They're not about to just highlight that.
So, but yeah, I'm glad we talked about it. I didn't.
No, for sure. Sure. Yeah.
But that's probably the most serious thing that I've ever talked about, But I'm glad that we were able to talk about it and bring light to it. And
yeah, for sure.
I didn't want to end it on the podcast on a negative note.
Yeah. But
I did want people to know that through education and through knowledge, that's how we're gonna make this world a better place.
Yeah.
So, I hope everyone keeps that in mind. And I wanted to thank Raymond for coming on, man. I appreciate you, bro.
I want to thank you for letting me on and. You know what I mean? Giving your opinion and your voice in everything, just even on this topic in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But this is the Mulberry Podcast. We'll see you guys next time.